Okay. All right. So my podcast is going. Here I am. Now, thank you guys for coming through on the Common Sense Show. Today is Friday the 13th. So if you're watching, if you are superstitious or anything like that, don't sweat it. Not on this show anyway. All right. So Friday the 13th. Welcome. What's up, Tristan? What's going on? I know you out and about and doing your thing. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. So before, I only ask a couple of things. One, that you share and invite the broadcast. Two, tap your screen, show those emojis. That way, I know I'm not talking to a blank screen here. So y'all tap along the screen there. Let me see if I can get some folks in here. Hold on 1 second. Let's see, let's see. Well, that's already here. All right. How's everybody going to like? All right, so I'm back. Hey, Denise, girl, up there in Milwaukee. Tonight's topic is in the headliner, and it says, and the topic is going to be, sometimes in life, elevation requires separation. And this is a time-on message. People have heard it 1,000 times. You probably know what I'm talking about when I say that. If you are in a place to where you are getting ready to elevate, go to the next level in your life, make changes, because, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is called what? Absolute insanity. So, what we want to do is refrain from insanity and make those changes and make those leaps to the next level in our life. But sometimes when we do that, we have to make sure that the people that are in our circle supposed to be in your circle. So a lot of times we just deal with folks because that's what we used to. We used to these folks. We get complacent. We want to, the first thing we say is, well, I deal with that person or this person because it's normal. That's what I'm used to doing. And we have to get out of that mentality. A lot of the times, your elevation, your next spot in this life may consist of leaving the partner or the person that you've been hanging with since she was 3. It just takes that. Sometimes people, hey, Michelle, sometimes people get into a particular rut. They don't want to do anything else. They just kind of want to just chill and ride your coattails. So what you got to do when you got folks like that in your life, you need to separate them, move on in your life. Those folks, you got to say bye-bye to them. Elevation is so important. Why in the world, first of all, do you want to stay stagnant in your life? I know, you get to a place, we get comfortable, we get complacent. It's like, okay, I'm good right here. I don't want to be anything else. Sometimes it just, hey, it happens. But we have to get out of that mode because we can't, because what happened is when you get into that mode, you get into that rut and you stay there, what's going to happen 6 months, a year from now, you was like, you know what? Man, I haven't moved a muscle in a year. I haven't moved a muscle in 6 months. Whatever it is, we are constantly staying in that particular rut and we're not elevating. Life is about elevation. You can stay there if you want to. You can live your life however you feel. But if you are in a place and you know you don't like that place, it's uncomfortable. It feels like you're sick. It feels like you're in this particular rut. Excuse me. If you choose to stay there, that's totally on you. I will tell you this. Now, I'm one of those people. I was one of those guys who, for a long time, I was in a place, I was just emotionally drained. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to deal with life no more. I didn't want to deal with people. And the people that I did deal with caught the wrath of what I was going through. So at one point, at some point, I woke up one morning and said, I can't stay here. I cannot afford to stay here any longer. Why? Because it's going to cost me my health. It's going to cost me my religion. It's going to cost me everything up under the sun. What's up, Chris? Hey, Tiff, what's up? It's going to cost me everything. Sometimes you have to elevate. Sometimes when you're in that rut, when you're in that muck, when you're in that mire, you're dealing with folks you don't really want to deal with. You're dealing with folks who've hurt you. You're dealing with folks who put salt in your name. You've dealt with those people. Now it's time to say, okay, that's it. So when you get ready to, when you make up in your mind that I'm going to elevate to the next level of this thing, them folks that's not in your same circle, who don't have the same thought process as you have, whatever, any of those folks, you're going to have to leave them. Elevation sometimes requires separation. Sometimes you just got to say bye. And I can't do this no more. We out. I'm out. Because you know what? My life, how I love me, is more important than how I feel about your feelings right now. Sometimes we have to get really selfish when it comes to our lives. I done dealt with you long enough. What's up, Chris? I'm trying to tell you, sooner less the better. You've dealt with these folks. You conformed. You did what they asked you to do. You walked out everything they said. And still at the end, you get burnt. And here we go. We're in that rut again. When you wake up and you say, I cannot do this any longer. Hey, Sharon, I can't do this any longer. That's when the process of elevation takes place. And you have to decide to yourself, am I going to stay here or am I going to keep pushing? I say all the time in my podcast, on the Conversation Show, you guys have heard me say it 1,000 times. It's never the falling down in life that makes you who you are, it's the getting up. So we can stay there if you want to. You can stay there. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be in that place where you don't trust people. It's okay to be there. But what you can't do, what you cannot do, is stay there. Because everybody ain't out for it. Everybody is not out for your bad. Everybody's not out to get you. But you have to love yourself more than what you're going through. Catch this again, I'm going to repeat it. You have to love yourself more than what you are going through. It's rough. It's hard out here sometimes because you've been through so much hurt. You know how much hurt I've been through? We can talk about hurt all day, and I'm not tonight, but I've gone through enough hurt to last a lifetime. But I know that I can't stay there. You can't either. So whatever you're going through right now, hey, you're listening to me right now, exactly what I'm going through right now at this moment. Whatever you're going through at this present time, listen, first of all, understand that it's temporary, okay? Whatever it is you're going through, it's temporary until you change your mindset. Then you can go to the next level. Okay, I've been there. My job here at the Common Sense Show TV is to try to help you guys understand that it's okay to hurt. The word hurt wouldn't be a word if it wasn't for real. It's okay to hurt, but you can't stay there. You can't not trust people. You cannot stop believing. You have got to keep it moving. Keep pressing. It's tough. Like I said, I keep saying it because it's hard. It's hard out here. I know. I walked it out. A man who moved 3,000 miles away from anybody that know his name. I know what it's like. If you guys would have known me before I left North Carolina, you've been like, boy, he been through it. He really been through it. So I'm telling you now, I have been through the muck and the mire, and I've been hurt. I've hurt people. I've lied to people. I've been lied to. I've been lied on. I've been through it. But what we can't do is stay in that place. Elevation requires separation. You got them homegirls, them homeboys you've been rolling with since you was a teen. You got that whole clique you've been riding with for the longest. But tell me, of the clique you riding with, who going where you going? Don't worry, I'll wait. Of that clique you rolling with, or have rolled with, how many of those folks are going where you going? Probably one, maybe two. But it doesn't matter because when you separate, when you leave, when you get to that next level, when you go to where no one can touch you, you're going to look back and say to yourself, what happened to so-and-so? Because so-and-so couldn't grow with you. They couldn't grow. They couldn't hang with you. Once you change your mindset, people that don't want to be in your circle or people who don't supposed to be in your circle, they will start to do what they call hating. And they'll say to your face, hey, Pepper. They'll say to your face, Nova. They'll say to your face, ooh, you so good. Ooh, But behind your back, they got a shank in it about that long, and they're stabbing you in it. And they'll tell anyone who's willing to listen. And keep this. If it's someone that's willing to listen who also rolls with you, and it's okay for them to talk about you to them, they can't roll with you either. Because they're just as dirty as the hater. I hope y'all catching this. When you get ready to elevate and move to the next level, folks are going to drop off like bad leaves. I can promise you. They're going to drop off like dead plants. If you continue to elevate, if you continue to change your mindset, if you continue to move forward and say, you know what, I can't do you no more. I'm done. Where I'm going is more important than how you feel right now. You're going to be a little butthurt. It's okay. You know how many people I used to roll with, pastors, preachers, friends I used to roll with, who don't even speak my name these days. Why? Because I had to elevate. I had to go. My elevation required them to be separated from me. I'm just saying, your elevation in your life, whether it be small, whether it be large, whatever your elevation is in your life, it's going to require separation from folks that you didn't think you ever be separated from. Chris says, once those people start dropping, he's actively seek out others that want to see you rise. You can't go by yourself. That's absolutely true. You cannot. That's why I always say, too, Chris, is that you need to get into what they call a support group. Hey, Chanel, what's up? A support group. People who are like-minded, people who have gone through the same thing. It's just like anybody who's an alcoholic or a alcoholic or a drug addict who goes to AA or any kind of support group. Those folks are surrounded by people that have the same issue they have, right? Common sense. They go through the same issue they have. So guess what? If you're trying to elevate, you can't hang with folk that's not. It's just not going to work. You're gonna have to move on, get into a place where there are people who are like-minded, just like you, who want to be entrepreneurs, just like you, who want to be a writer, just like you, who want to be a CEO, just like you. What you can't do is hang with folks who have that I want them cheese and crackers mentality. They just want to sit there and chill. They want to sit back, Netflix and chill, play the PS4, don't have anything else better to do in their life. You ignoring people, you ignoring your marriage, your friends, your family, all that to play the PS4. But everybody else have left you by. And you're looking, where's everybody? Hey, Latasha, where's everybody? Your elevation is going to cause people to separate because they're not going to be able to stand you. You understand that, right? When you get ready to elevate and go somewhere else, people are going to hate you because you don't do what you used to do. Those of us who used to party, drink, whatever, lie, steal, cheat, whatever, when you don't do it, the people you used to do it with will hate you. Because, oh, you too good now? No, I ain't too good. I'm just too good for you. Ooh, this stuff I'm saying to you guys isn't rocket science. This is common sense I'm telling you tonight. Separate from those folks because first of all, they mean you no good. Okay? So, let me take a pause right here. I'm going to welcome everybody that's in the live right now. Thank you guys for coming. I really do appreciate it. If you have not shared the video yet, go ahead and share it to your timeline. I'm also going to post a podcast here later. I'm recording that right now as we speak. Make sure you share the broadcast. Tap your screen. I see some emojis pop up there earlier. It's not going to cost you nothing. I'm not going to send you a bill. I promise. So what I want to do right now is take a pause. I want to answer some questions. Somebody ask me a question. Anything about anything. If it's about life, work, marriage, relationships, whatever. Ask me. I want to be interactive. Hey, Tiara, I don't want to sit here and talk for 45 minutes. Ask me a question. Tell me what's up. What's on your mind? Understand it. Remember this. Your elevation is going to cause a whole lot of separation from people that can't roll with you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Any questions? Any comments? What are you guys thinking out there? Somebody talk to me, man. I tell you, I get on these lives and people just don't want to say nothing. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Well, while we're waiting for my first question to pop up here, I want you guys to take those to my hat. If you guys missed the last live that I did, I wore this hat and I had the matching shirt to go with it. If you guys are believers, you're Christians, and if you want to rock some Christian apparel, I want you guys to go to the website of artofhomage.com. It's ARTOFHOMAGE.com. They have so much stuff. They have the worship line that I'm wearing, this hat. Saved by Grace, product of grace. Don't mind my hair. It's been a rough day. Okay, I'm a product of grace. That. Sharon said, what made me move from North Carolina? That's a good question. Okay, let me finish my thought and I'll answer that question. So if you want to wear some Christian apparel, rock this. They have great stuff. Artofhomage.com. That's by Chanel Dixon. She's awesome. So the question that was presented was, what made me move from North Carolina? Okay, so that's the question. Here's the answer. The reason why North Carolina is because at the time I was in a bad place. I was just in a really bad place. I was working, but I couldn't manage to keep any money. I'm not sure why that was. I'm not a big splurge person or nothing like that, but it was just, I couldn't keep any money. Dating a young lady, we broke up. I was sleeping on her couch, right? We had a disagreement. She was like, get out. So I was homeless. Went from being homeless to where I could get to, or I got me one of those extended stay hotels, like, I think, what was the name of it? I can't remember now. But it was one of the extended stay hotels. So I stayed there. I paid rent every week to live in this hotel. Met Melissa. Well, I already knew Melissa from years ago, but she was in Chicago. I was in North Carolina. We kind of dating long distance. And it just kind of, we were dating long distance, and she was like, okay, let's make it official. It's okay. So we made it official, whatnot. And then one of her best friends who lives out here was like, hey, you guys are really having a hard time. You guys are kind of struggling. Why don't you guys come out here? Just come to Twin Falls and start over. And at the time, I felt like I didn't have anything to lose. I was living in a hotel. I was eating maybe once, twice a week. I was in a bad way. And so the opportunity came. She brought it to me. Let's go to Twin Falls. I'm like, okay, let me think about it, because there's not a lot of black folk out here in Twin Falls. And it's not. Hey, Susan. But her best friend, her husband, he's black. And so there was other black folk. And then Boise is about 2 hours away. There's more black folks there. So I made the decision. I think I mulled it over for maybe 24 hours. Hey, Kimberly. Mulled it for 24 hours. I got up the next morning at like 3 in the morning. God woke me up and said, you have to do something different. You can't stay here. And so when I sat there and I got the confirmation, I said, okay, let's do it. So it's one of those things. I threw away the fear. Excuse me. I threw away the unknown, because a lot of people won't move because of unknowns and fears. And so I threw my fears away, my unknowns away, and I called Melissa up and I said, let's do it. And next thing I know, I'm saying goodbye to North Carolina. I'm in a minivan driving cross country, and we're out here. That's how I got here. So if anybody asked, anybody who did not know how I made it to Idaho, that's how I got here. It was because I was in such a bad way. I didn't see any way out of it. I was just like, I could have went home, But I knew what that meant. If I could just stay where I was, I knew what that meant. I was like, I can't do this. So the opportunity came. God woke me up, and I'm a firm believer that if God shakes you that early in the morning, you need to listen. If you're one of those people who are awakened early in the morning, whether it be, and we will kind of skip it off as insomnia, or I'm just having a bad, I just can't sleep. A lot of the times, that's God saying, "Wake up! I got something to tell you." And so when that happens to you, and you get that shaking, and God says, "Wake up! I'm trying to tell you something." Listen. Shut your mouth. Cut off TV. Sit there in the dark and just listen. And so that's what happened. I got up at 3:30 in the morning. I sat on the end of my hotel bed. Had lights off. TV was off. It was just me in the dark. And I said, "Okay, God, whatever it is." And he gave it to me. He said, you can't stay here. You can't stay here. So I say that to say this. Don't ask God for anything if you are afraid to move your feet. We are so good about saying, "Okay, God, if you just bring me out of this. God, if you just bring me this. If you just help me out just one more time, I'll be your servant forever. I'll do whatever you tell me forever. If God, you just bring me out. God, if you just stop the hurt, stop the pain. I will do whatever you ask me forever. I will be your trusting servant forever, God." You know how many times I've said that personally? But sometimes you have to move your feet. You cannot be afraid to move your feet. Don't ask God for anything. Before you go to God for anything, you better be sure. You better be real specific about what you want. Because if you don't, God's going to answer it. And then when you don't move and you miss it, don't go to God and say, "Well, God, you said." He gave you exactly what you said. So when that came to me, God said, "You can't stay here. You have to move." And that's exactly what I had. That's exactly what I did. Oh, yeah, I found myself saying that a lot. "Okay, Tosh, you know what it is. God, if you just bring me out." I can't see, because let me tell you something about Christian folk. And I tell you, I grew up in the church. I love my church folk. I love all of them. But we will shout our way deaf and still leave the church of the house of God doing the same thing we were doing before we got there. Stop. Stop it. If you have asked God for something, no matter what it is, no matter how big, no matter how small, whatever it is you have asked God for, you better believe it. First of all, it's done. Secondly, move your feet. Put on your Jordans, your Timbs, or whatever it is you wear these days. Put those bad boys on. Move your feet. Because until you change your mindset and your thought process, nothing, and I do mean nothing, is going to happen. It is going to happen. Oh, not going to happen. I'm sorry. When you go to God, when you say, "God, I need for you to do this for me. I need for you to touch so-and-so. Hey, Keisha, I need for you to touch so-and-so. I need for you to do this for me. I need this job, God. I need this house, God. I need this, God. I need that, God." Be very specific in that request. The biggest thing that I'm always hearing from my women folk, I love y'all, "God, send me a man." Send me a man. Okay. God says, "All right, I'm going to send you a man." Hey, Jacqueline, I'm going to send you a man. All right. But you weren't specific in your request. You didn't say, "God, send me my Boaz. Send me a king." You said, "God, send me a man." Be specific in what you're asking God for. And then when he give it to you, do not be afraid to move your feet. Moving your feet can mean a lot of things, not just moving your physical feet. That can mean moving your faith. That can mean moving your train of thought, your thought process. That could be, I need to change the way I believe. We have to change the way that we believe sometimes. That's moving. So it's not necessarily beating up Pat and Tom, right and left foot. That is changing how you think about certain things. Move your feet. Because you can't say, God, I want to be a CEO. I need you to bless me with a job. I become CEO. I want to have my own business. You can't say, I want to have my own business and still have that paycheck to paycheck mindset. Okay, I'm going to shut that down right there. I repeat it. You cannot ask God to be for a business, but still have that paycheck to paycheck mindset. Something got to give. Because know that God's going to honor your request. You feel me? Everybody in here has gone to God for something, but one specific. One specific enough. Hey, Maria. When you go to God, when you go to Him for anything, be specific. God, I need. And to give it to Him from A to Z. What's up, cousin? My chance. What's up, man? Give it to Him from A to Z. The mantra of this company, Art of Homage, is less complaining, more worship. Sometimes you guys just give it to God, worship your way through, shout the walls down, and move on. Elevation sometimes require separation from people. You've been hanging with these folks forever. But what have they gotten you? We struggling together. Drake's songs say, started from the bottom. Some of us are still at the bottom. Because we started and stayed there. Change your mindset. Change your life. I've said it 1,000 times. Stop worrying about what somebody else feels. Well, if I start being their friend, they might feel some kind of way about me. Man, you better forget them people. Look, there are some people, thank you, Maria, there are some people who want to see you struggle. That's why it's important for you to make sure your circle is like-minded, just like you. Because please know that there's somebody in your circle that's sitting back on your Facebook timeline going, I see him. I see him. I see struggling. I see him. You see it? Look. And as soon as you say something remotely out the way, they all up in your inbox. So Gerald, hey man, you could pop in. Change your circle. I tell my kids all the time, if you are the brightest star in your circle, it is time to change circles. Constant elevation. Changing circles. Because when you change circles, those folks that was in that circle, you got to leave them. They can't roll with you no more. If you got a homeboy or a homegirl, and when you was in high school, y'all rode around that 92 Grand Prix with a honey bun and an orange soda, and it's 10 years later and you elevated to a Bentley, and they still got that 92 Grand Prix with the honey bun and the soda, they can't ride with you. You are not getting in my Bentley, I promise you. You're not. I promise you, that's not going to happen. Separate yourself from folks. And the reason why I say the Grand Prix thing is because I did it in high school. I was honey bun with the orange soda. I did that. I'm just saying. But you can't roll with these folks, man. Separate yourself. You want to be a motivator. Somebody is waiting to hear your story. But you know why you won't tell it? Because you worry about your haters saying, why are you doing that? If y'all don't quit, listen to me. You're going to have those folks who's going to be like, why are you doing it? Just like me and my social media journey. Everybody's like, well, why are you doing that? The majority of my comments that I get, people love it. They'll inbox me and be like, yo, you killed it. Or I've gotten one or two that was like, you need to sit down somewhere. Oh, you think you're a preacher now? Oh, you think you this? You think you that now? I don't. But what I do know is that when I get on here, I am going to help somebody. Somebody's going to hear what I'm saying. Somebody's going to hear what I'm saying. And I want to help somebody. If I only reach one person on this live or any other live or a podcast or whatever, if I help one person, if one person inboxes me and say, hey, Jacqueline, if one person says, you know what you just said to me touched me. Just like the Gerald said a little while ago, man, you preach. I appreciate that. Those comments like that lets me know that what I'm saying is relevant. I know it's relevant too because I've been through it. You can't tell me that you haven't been through it too. You got to separate yourself from folks that don't believe in you. Okay. Yeah. I hope y'all catch it. You want me to repeat it? I'll say it again. People who don't believe in you can't roll with you. So if that requires you to take an inventory of the folks you roll with, you need to do that. Because the next phase of your life depends on it. I'm helping somebody. I can feel it. I'm helping somebody. Take an inventory of the people that you roll with. Co-workers, family members, whatever. Take an inventory. Write it down. If them folks if them folks don't believe in you, you best believe they can't roll with you either. They can't do it. All right. So that's my show for this evening. If anybody has any other questions or comments, hit me up. I want to see. Hey, Nina, what's going on? Thank you guys for coming through and sharing your 30 minutes with me. I really do appreciate that. It makes my heart good to hear it and see it. The emojis and the comments and all that good stuff. Listen, I'm going to be back here next Friday with another steaming helping of the Common Sense Show TV. But before I go, like I said, I'm always talking. I want to answer some questions. I want somebody to ask me anything. Thanks, Sharon, for your question. I appreciate you earlier. Anybody else got any other questions that they might want to ask me? Like, what's going on with your hair? Why are you sweating? Whatever. Any questions you might want to any questions that I can answer? Any questions? You guys are a hoot. I love y'all. I do.